The road to WrestleMania 42 is heating up in a big way, and right in the middle of the chaos stands one of the most unpredictable and controversial superstars in WWE today, Dominik Mysterio. Known to fans as Dirty Dom, he has once again found himself at the center of attention, not just because of his recent loss, but because of the extreme lengths he's willing to go to reclaim what he believes is rightfully his. After dropping the Intercontinental Championship, Dominik isn't backing down. Instead, he's doubling down with one of the wildest stipulation ideas imaginable. Everything goes back to that pivotal moment on WWE Raw when Penta defeated Dominik Mysterio to capture the Intercontinental Championship for the first time. It was a shocking result for many, not just because of the title change itself, but because of how dominant Dominik had been leading up to that match. Despite still holding the prestigious AAA Mega Championship, losing the Intercontinental title clearly struck a nerve with him. For Dominik, it wasn't just a loss, it was unfinished business. Since that night, Dominik has made it very clear that he wants his championship back, no matter the cost. And when he speaks about it, there's a mix of frustration, arrogance, and determination that perfectly defines his current character. He doesn't see himself as someone who was outperformed. He sees himself as someone who got unlucky, someone who was robbed of a victory that should have been his. That mindset is what's pushing him toward taking bigger risks, and that's exactly where his latest idea comes into play. During his recent appearance on The Collection with Brad Gilmore, Dominik laid out his vision for WrestleMania 42, and it's nothing short of extreme. He wants a rematch with Penta for the Intercontinental Championship, but not just any rematch. He wants a hair versus mask match, one of the most iconic and high-stakes stipulations in professional wrestling history. It's the kind of match that goes beyond titles and victories. It's about identity, pride, and legacy. Dominik didn't hold back when explaining his idea. He openly mocked Penta, calling him ugly, and suggesting that he'd be more than willing to put his own hair on the line if Penta agreed to risk both his mask and the Intercontinental Championship. And if that wasn't enough, Dominik even went a step further, saying he'd be willing to put his mustache on the line as well. For a character like Dominik, whose look has become such a defining part of his persona, that's a massive statement. The concept of a hair versus mask match carries deep significance, especially for someone like Penta. In Lucha Libre tradition, a mask is more than just a piece of gear. It represents a wrestler's identity, history, and cultural heritage. Losing it is considered one of the biggest possible defeats. By proposing this stipulation, Dominik isn't just challenging Penta physically, he's challenging everything that defines him as a competitor. At the same time, Dominik's willingness to risk his own appearance adds another layer to the story. His hair and mustache have become iconic elements of his Dirty Dom persona, symbolizing his confidence and swagger. Putting them on the line shows just how desperate he is to regain the Intercontinental Championship and re-establish himself as a dominant force. It's a bold move, one that could either elevate him to new heights or leave him completely exposed. But while Dominik is pushing hard for this match, the reality behind the scenes may be pointing in a different direction. Reports suggest that WWE has been building toward a completely different WrestleMania moment for Dominik, one that involves his former ally and fellow member of the Judgment Day, Finn Bálor. The tension between Dominik and Balor has been simmering for quite some time, and with the recent split within the faction, it seems like the perfect time to bring that conflict to the forefront. According to longtime wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer, WWE had actually been considering a match between Dominik and Balor as far back as WWE SummerSlam 2024. At that time, however, the company decided against pulling the trigger, largely because the Judgment Day was still incredibly popular, and breaking them up too soon could have disrupted that momentum. Now, with the faction no longer as unified as it once was, the timing feels right. If this match does happen at WrestleMania 42, it would represent a major turning point for both superstars. For Dominik, it's a chance to step out of the shadow of his former allies and prove that he can stand on his own. For Finn Bálor, it's an opportunity to settle unfinished business and remind everyone why he has been one of the most respected competitors in WWE for years. There's also the intriguing possibility of Balor bringing back his demon persona for the match, something that had reportedly been planned for their earlier encounter. The Demon is one of the most visually striking and psychologically intense characters in WWE, and its presence would instantly elevate the stakes of the match. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen, but even the possibility adds another layer of excitement. This situation leaves Dominik Mysterio at a crossroads. On one hand, he has his sights set firmly on reclaiming the Intercontinental Championship from Penta, even if it means risking everything in a hair versus mask match. On the other hand, WWE appears to be steering him toward a deeply personal feud with Finn Bálor, one that could define his career in a completely different way. Both paths offer huge opportunities, but they also come with significant risks. For fans, this uncertainty is part of what makes the road to WrestleMania so compelling. Nothing is set in stone, and every week brings new developments that could change the direction of the story. Dominik's bold proposal has already sparked conversations, with many wondering whether WWE might actually go through with such a high-stakes stipulation. At the same time, the potential clash with Finn Bálor feels like a natural progression of the storyline, one that has been building for months. No matter which direction WWE chooses, one thing is certain: Dominik Mysterio will be a major part of WrestleMania 42. His ability to generate attention, whether through his actions, his words, or his sheer presence, makes him one of the most valuable characters on the roster right now. He knows how to get under people's skin, how to create controversy, and how to keep fans invested. As the countdown to WrestleMania continues, the question isn't whether Dominik will have a big moment, it's what that moment will look like. Will he get his wish and step into a hair versus mask showdown with Penta, risking everything for the chance to become a double champion? Or will he find himself face-to-face with Finn Bálor in a battle fueled by betrayal, history, and personal pride? Whatever happens, one thing is guaranteed. When Dirty Dom steps onto the grandest stage of them all, he's going to make sure the entire world is watching.